What's the verb?
Vika.
The verb, the action or the state of the will. When will Vika come? How do I answer that question?
Vika will come. Who knows when? Like 9 o'clock.
Will come
9.
at 9? Okay, look at how I answer the question. What is the verb? Vika. Oh, there's 2. Will come. Vika will come at 9. So what's happening here is I use this to help come. This is showing future, right? This is showing the future. When will Vika come? Vika will come at 9 o'clock.
Can we say Vika come at 9?
If I asked, when did Vika come? That's past. Then we would answer, Vika came at 9. Okay? So when we're asking questions, we're also sometimes using auxiliary verbs, to help us and to show what tense we're learning. We've been learning a lot about past tense, present perfect, all kinds of tenses, right? So this is related to all of that. All right?
The teacher has asked the student to write some sentences. Now it's your turn. I'm going to ask you to write some sentences in a moment. Before we do, let's review some of the things that we've been saying. We have these WH question words, and you can often begin a question with those. Who is this man? When did you go? And a question can often begin with one of these words. So you could write your question doing that. But we have another way that we make questions as well. When we are making a sentence, to make our verb, we often use an auxiliary. An auxiliary is a helping word that helps us to form the verb phrase. We have 3 auxiliary verbs. These are be, have, and do. We also have different auxiliaries called modals. We've learned about modals a few lessons ago. These are words like can, may, should, will, or might. These are auxiliaries as well, and we put them next to the main verb to build the verb phrase. Now, if you're not using one of these WH question words or how to make your question, then there's a special way we deal with the verb phrase. Now, the normal order for a statement in a verb phrase is we go subject, auxiliary, then the verb. We say, I will go, or I am going. Now that's the statement, but when we make a question, we change the order of the first 2. Instead of going subject, auxiliary, main verb, we would go auxiliary, then subject, then main verb. So if we take a statement like she can eat, that's the statement. If we turn that into a question, we would go can she eat? Question mark. So we took the subject and the auxiliary and we had them change places. That's how we make a question when you have an auxiliary and you're not using one of the question words. But what do you do if there is no auxiliary? You have a simple tense like she lives in Montreal. You don't have an auxiliary because it's a simple tense. If there is no auxiliary, we put in the auxiliary word do, or does if it's for the third person, and we use that in the place of an auxiliary. So if I say the statement, she lives in Montreal, when I turn it into a question, it would be, does she live in Montreal? We put in the auxiliary, do or does, and then we change the order of the subject and the auxiliary. And because the third person is already indicated on the auxiliary, we don't need to do that on the verb again. So these are some of the rules about how we form questions. So now, let's get back to our activity. I'd like you to write 4 questions. 2 of them must use one of the question words like who, what, where, when, or which, or why. And 2 of the sentences must take the auxiliary and change places with the subject. So write 2 sentences using each method. All right? When you have written them, start the video again. All right? Let's begin. Are you finished writing your sentences? That's very good if you are. I'm going to ask you to pause the video again and read your sentences to each other in your class. Make sure that everyone gets a chance to read the sentences that they wrote.
I have some questions for you now. Let's take a look at your sheets. Can you pick your sheets back up again, please? Yeah, pick up your sheets, pick up your papers. Let's read the first sentence on activity 2. Activity number 2, let's read it. Let's read this. Can you read that, Tanya? Yes, you can read that. How
many people did you see?
How many people did you see? Can you read it again for me?
How many people did you see?
Okay, so who can tell me what the verb is?
Did. Did.
Did, there's another part to the verb. Did is the auxiliary. It's the helping to the verb. How many people?
How?
No.
Many.
No.
People.
No. Did see. See is the verb. Okay? So did is helping see. How many people did you see? What would you answer me? I did see 10 people. Or we could also say I saw 10 people. Okay? Because did, is this present or future or past?
Past.
Past. So we know that our answer is going to be in the past. How many people did you see?
10.
I saw
10.
10 people. Okay? So we answer in the past. Did is our auxiliary helping the main verb see. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to fill in our activities using some of our auxiliaries. So let's read the second one together.
Which picture you like?
What's missing? Which picture you like? Is that right if I say that? Helping. We want to help like. Which picture did you like?
Or kind?
We could say did if it was past. Which picture, if it's present, what would we say?
Which picture do you like?
Very good. Which picture did you like? Which picture do you like? Very good. So we can fill that in with do. The next one, let's read the next one. Read it out. Can you read it out loud?
What
kind of TV shows
did you like? Or
did you watch or do you watch? Let's stay present. What kind of TV shows do you watch?
do
right? So do is being used as our auxiliary, our helping verb. Next one. How far blank the college from here? How far? How far did the college from here? No. How far will the college from here? How far do the college from here? No. How far is the college from here? Okay, is our verb. Okay, next one. How often blank you go swimming? What did you say, Vika? How often do, present, yeah. How often do you go swimming? And the final one? Who do you like? It's present. Close. Who, what's the present of did? Who do? Who do you know here? If it was past, we would say, who did you know there? Or who did you know here could work too. Good. Excellent. One of the things that we need to remember is using these auxiliary verbs, right? So listen to my question. What you like to do? What's missing? What do you like to do? Okay? How old you are? What's wrong with that one?
How old
are you? That's right. I switched the order there. How old are you? How about what hobbies you like? What's missing? What are your favorite hobbies, or what is your favorite hobby if we're talking about one? So do you hear that we're using these auxiliaries? We're using do, is or are, did, yeah, do, did, will, very good. Well, who is one of our question words? Yeah, very good. Good job. So let's take a look again at our question words. Let's read them. What, when, who, which, where, how. And remember, sometimes when we're asking questions, we are going to use auxiliary verbs to help our main verb. So let's read this question up here. How many people did you see? Did see. Very good. Just like right here. What film did you see? Which picture do you like? Okay, we're using our helping verbs, or our auxiliary verbs. So good job. You guys are making good questions. Excellent job. That is all for our lesson today. Okay? Good job.
Well, let's wrap up. What did we learn today? Well, we learned a lot about questions. We learned that there are some words that you use in asking questions. Who, what, where, when, why, which, or how. And each one of these is looking for different information. So it's important which question word you use, because it will get you different information. We also learned about building a sentence, making it a question. That you take the auxiliary and the subject and you have them change places. And if you don't have an auxiliary, you can put in the word do. Well, this will help us a lot when we're making questions. Now, we ask questions a lot. Why do we ask questions so much? Well, that's a question, isn't it? We ask questions because we need information. We're always expecting to learn things from one another. Sometimes we just need the information. Sometimes we're just being friendly and taking an interest in someone. When I meet someone from another country, I like to ask them a lot of questions about themselves and about where they come from. It helps me to understand where they live. So, is this English without limits? Yes, This is English Without Limits. Who am I? I am Doug Sadler. I am not someone else. And what do I hope for you? I hope you will have a good day.